Today we are going to talk about UNI coin and the potential movement towards these fair value gap zones. Good morning traders, welcome back to the channel, and this time we are taking a look at Uniswap coin, Unicoin on a daily and 4-hour time frame. Now straight to the point on a daily time frame. Since the beginning of November, so 1 month ago, we had this massive bullish movement which broke the second moving average and 100 EMA and also exploded on the Bollinger Bands as well. Further movement was also bullish, but without any significant retests as well. We see that there was some kind of movement to the lower zones, potentially reclaiming those fair value gap zones that have been left here, but it stopped just right here in the middle line of the Bollinger Bands, of course. Now, some time went through, and 22 days later, basically, we had another bullish movement to the upper zones, and of course, leaving this unfilled zone here, which is FVG zone, as we all know, fair value gap zone. So on a daily time frame, we still see at least a movement towards this middle line of Bollinger Bands happening, and the potential movement to even lower zones, which is basically, I think, maybe 20, maybe 15% if we go all the way down. So almost 15%, 13%. 13% if we see the price move and break this middle line of Bollinger Bands, or at least 7% of market price movement if we see price near the middle line of Bollinger Bands. Now, after this surge in the bullish momentum, we see that the price was actually 3 days outside in the Bollinger Band zone, which is indicator to the huge overbought zone, meaning the price had still some surge. It dumped, although went for another attempt, and now it dumped, and currently on the 1st December, so we got our monthly candle closing, and today is the first day of the month, of course, so fresh start for us. So on the bigger time frame daily, we see price to move to the lower zones. Now going on a 4-hour time frame, what catches our attention, oh, one more thing actually, on daily time frame are the EMAs. See how far the EMAs, both of them, are from the market price. Now usually when EMAs are so far from the market price, it indicates a potential movement to the lower zones, so they act mainly like a magnet. So now let's go on a 4-hour time frame, and straight to the point, we see the branch of second moving average and the middle line of Bollinger Bands, which is currently in the bearish trend, of course. Now, after retesting the lower side of Bollinger Bands here, you can see, so let me draw this a little bit lower. You can see this line here, we retested, and now retesting the middle line, which has aligned with the second moving average. Potentially seeing, of course, a nice rejection and a movement towards 100 EMA and 200 EMA. Now, with that being said, the first thing that we need is, of course, to see some kind of weakness near this zone. So let's draw a circle here near this zone here. Once we see a weakness around this zone, we will most likely go for another attempt to break down from this zone here, which acts as small support zone, which is also near 100 EMA. And once we are near 100 EMA, we will most likely see the reclaim of this whole zone of fair value gap zone. As usually, you all know, once we are inside the FVG zone, there is no stop or anything that can stop the price. As you can see, no major supports or resistance are here. So on the bigger time frame, of course, we can see that we can count as the support zone this liquidity zone, which is basically near the middle line of Bollinger Bands currently, and also this zone here, which is also acting as a small kind of support zone. But in the terms of smaller time frame, meaning 4-hour time frame, there are not any major support zones currently. The only support zone is near this zone, which we have displayed to you. Now, with that being said, our game plan once again is very simple. wait for some kind of rejection near this zone, and once we see the rejection, we want to see price to move towards this $5.9 basically. And once we see this zone to be broken and movement towards the 100 EMA, we are most likely going to see some kind of movement, or at least weak quick liquidation or long squeeze towards FVG zones. Something like this here, but maybe further down to the lower zones. And of course, if we see a massive breakdown from this whole zone, and we will secure this zone, so meaning by we mean the sellers, as we are looking for a sell position here, then we will most likely go for a retest here and potentially go for attempt to reclaim this zone here as well. But our first and major target is of course this zone here. This is it basically for today. This is the view on Unicoin we see. We display to you the fair value gap zone. We showed you potential weakness zones and support zones. And as always, if you like this video, feel free to share and subscribe and stay humble. See you in the next session.